Hello, today we're going to talk about numerical incorporation. Now, we've talked about other forms of incorporation before, like first we talked about negative incorporation, and that's when we took signs like no, as in knowledge, or want, or like, and then we changed the movement on them to turn away from our bodies in order to make them be negative. So instead of no, it's now don't know by turning it away, or want becomes don't want and goes the opposite direction. Like twists away and becomes don't like. Then we talked about temporal incorporation. That's when you take a sign like week and then you add some extra movement to it to show whether it's in the past or in the future. So it can be last week or next week. We can sign last month and next month all at once instead of having two separate signs like past month. We can do it all together. Numerical incorporation is a similar concept. Now let me show you how this works. So we're at this little boy's birthday party. Yay, happy birthday. I could sign that he is age 4, and that's totally correct and acceptable and an absolute good way to sign that. Or I can take the sign age and the number 4 and do both of them at the same time and just say all in one big movement, he is 4 years old. All right, and that is numerical incorporation. It's the act of producing a sign that now has that hand shape of a number. So instead of signing, like we just talked about, instead of signing age 4 to say 4 years old, we can use the sign for age, but use a 4 hand shape. So it's almost like a contraction between the sign and the number. So when we gloss it, it's like the sign age, but then I'm going to use that hyphen and use a 4 because I'm signing both at the same time. All right, so we talked about these 3 brothers, Will, Landon, and Drew. So if I was going to talk about their age, I could say Drew was 7, Will is 5, and little Landon is 2. So I could sign it this way, and then you can see their ages, and you can see how that, I don't have to sign them separately. I can sign that all together as one big movement. We can also use numerical incorporation with Deixis. We know how to point to one person to be the singular tense. We know how to point to lots of people to be y'all or they. But we can also kind of use numerical incorporation in a different way. So we can actually point to 2 people at the same time, like the 2 of them, and use sort of a K hand shape to talk about 2 different people. Or I kind of change the palm orientation on a little on that, and it means the 2 of us. We can also do that with 3, kind of makes more of a circular motion, the 3 of them or the 3 of us. You can use that with 4, and really you can't use much beyond that. But numerical incorporation can be used with all sorts of things. And as we go through and learn these things later through the year and into next year, you'll see how these work. But we can use it with hours. We can use it with days, how many days it happened. Like we'll be gone 4 days. You can use it with weeks or months or even years. There's lots of other places we can use this as well, but this is just a basic list to get you started with. It can also be used with like money, clock time, even sports scores. All of those things can be shown using numerical incorporation. But there is one thing we need to keep in mind, and that is what we call the rule of 9. Because the sign 10 already has an internal movement, so like just that thumbs up shakes back and forth, we cannot then move it again to show like 10 weeks, because then the hand is moving, like your thumb is moving, and then the whole hand is moving, and you can't make 2 movements at once. That's too confusing. So because of that and some other stuff, lots of numbers after 10 move. So that's why we have the rule of 9. And that means most of the time you can only use numerical incorporation up to and including the number 9. You can't use it 10, 11, 20, 37. Can't use it there. You can only use it up through 9. After that, signs are produced separately. So like 10 days, because I can't sign the 10, I can't shake the 10 while I'm signing the word days. It gets too confusing. So I have to separate it 10 days or 16 weeks. Not that you really count 16 weeks much as a measure of time unless you're pregnant. 20 years, right? That's going to have to be separate. Age is the exception to that rule. So some signs like 12 are hard to sign from the chin. So sometimes it's easier to sign like age 12. But lots of other things you can sign straight from the chin and use numerical incorporation that way. And that the rule of 9 does not apply there. So here's a clip from your textbook that will show you some more of that and some examples as well. Happy signing. How old are you? Are you 15? You set 19? Are you 30? All ages start here on your chin, what we call the age spot. So copy me. 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old. For anything above age 9, there's 2 different ways you can sign it, and both are acceptable. So watch Chris.